Aces, I know I always go on about the RIXXs, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. It's been months. We ran out of stock, but we're back. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house. Righto, let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Ausmerican Aces. Do we have a big show today? We like to do these exclusives, and there's no bigger name in the country when you're talking NFL. We're joined by Arryn Siposs today to talk about the Super Bowl preview, catch up with him and what he's doing with his life at the moment. Some exciting things, and we love our AFL, we love our NFL, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this. Sip, welcome to the podcast, mate, again, and welcome to the new studios. How you going? You're looking nice and tanned.
Yeah, I am. It's good getting back in the summertime here, so which is a real plus, but thanks for having me. This is a good setup.
It is a great setup, and you know I love seeing you. I love I'm a bit of a nuffy around you. I'm trying to pick everything about the NFL and get some tips. Geez, yeah. Tommy's tips the last few weeks have been horrific.
Yeah, I've seen them. They've been a bit rough. So I don't know.
Ravens in Detroit last week. I mean, I
was close to getting on one too, and then I thought better of it because you haven't had a good success rate in the last month or so.
I've been good this year, but the playoffs is horrific. So I thought, you know what, time for me to shut up, back in the host, and get the talent in, which is you. You know more about this game than anyone.
Very good.
Mate, Super Bowl week is huge. We'll get to that soon. So everyone out there, just to shape the show, we're going to talk about SIP for the next 30 minutes, but then afterwards, we're going to break down this Super Bowl 58 between the Chiefs and the Niners. I'm wearing Mahomes' kit. I love Mahomes. I love NFL, but I didn't like him the last 4 weeks, so I didn't mean to do this in front of Sip, but I've been spraying Mahomes and saying they've got no receivers and they can't win it, and he continues to just, be the best I've seen outside of Brady. And so I thought, you know what, I'll rock Mahomes this week. I might even tip them so they lose.
Please do. Please do.
But Sip, mate, since we last spoke, we've caught up since you've been back, but for all the Ausmerican Aces out there that have followed your journey, they would have seen you start the NFL season at Philly. Can you just talk to everyone about what your year's been like, and maybe even go back to the practice squad during the preseason so people can get a good understanding of what's happened since, I guess, the Super Bowl last year, and show them how cutthroat this industry can be, but how exciting it can be as well. Yeah,
I mean, obviously the last time I spoke to you, I'd come back from a bit of a rough patch and obviously not achieving the ultimate success in the NFL, and obviously the mishap that I had in the game itself. So obviously that was a work in progress from there, but went back to America after that. Was still on the team and trying to grind it out, I guess, and get this ankle right, and give myself every opportunity to be able to go out there and play another season, and obviously fighting through some battles and that, to get myself right, and got myself into a good place, kind of going into training camp, which was exciting, and I still didn't really know where I stood, but I kind of just put both feet forward, mate, and keep walking and do what I need to do, and try and not worry about the external noises that were going on. And went through training camp, had competition in there, and I thought I had a pretty solid training camp, and won that job for the time being, which was exciting. I went through a couple of preseason games, as you do, to kind of gear up, be ready for it, and looked like it was all systems go. And played the first couple of games this year, which was exciting. Played against the Patriots week 1 in the pouring rain and tough conditions, but went out there and had a pretty solid game, and just started to kind of build a little bit of confidence back. I really needed that first one to kind of get out of the way, because it had been a long 6 months of thinking about stuff that, went wrong and all that stuff. And, you're trying to move on. And ultimately I just probably needed that game to get out there and do it. And went really well. I was actually really happy with the game. Averaged 49, netted 45. And I was like, all right, maybe I'm a chance here to kind of get going. And played the second game, which was literally 4 days later. Played Thursday night against the Vikings, and different position in field and stuff. Our offense was really, really good, so they only needed me really for shorter punts and that. So numbers obviously don't stand out, but, three punts inside 20 out of the 4 that I had, and just thought, yep, I've done my job, did what I needed to do, and so obviously you go into the weekend, you're still a bit unsure, but at the same time you're thinking, all right, maybe there's a chance to kind of keep building, showing that I've put in the work to get myself right, and unfortunately got a call on the Sunday morning from my agent and said, look, I feel like there's a couple of things that are going on. I wanted to give you the heads up first, but, nothing's been set in stone yet. But there's, it seems like, GM's going to make some moves and things like that. So just be prepared, and kind of threw me off a little bit, I'd say. And then, obviously you had the Sunday night just kind of thinking about what was going to happen and things like that. That night didn't sleep very well, obviously. And then the Monday morning I got a call from the GM saying, can you come in? So obviously basically confirming things. And mate, just went into his office and just said it was time to move on and that. So I think deep down in the end, it's, all the stuff that went on in the Super Bowl was ultimately too much for him. So I don't think it really mattered what I did. I could have been the number 1 punter for those 2 weeks, and I don't think it really would have mattered too much. I think they just had their mind made up and needed to move forward, and that's how the industry works, mate. And you have to do your best to move forward with it all. So obviously that happened. Then I spent the next month over there trying to give myself another opportunity to get in. I was close with the Arizona Cardinals. They had a guy that was a week later that they unfortunately cut as well, and the position was there to be taken, but they ended up taking somebody that they'd already worked out about a month prior when I was still at the Eagles. So that one didn't quite work out, but still kind of putting our feelers out there and see what would happen. But the industry is very tough to get back into once you're out of it, Tommy. So just kind of play the waiting game, and with how my visa works, I really only had 30 days before I had to get out of the country. Not that I'd ever expect somebody to physically tap on my door and say, hey, but you still want to do the right thing, because ultimately you want to go back there at some stage, and that, and last thing you want to be doing is blacklisted. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, 100%.
But so had 30 days to kind of get out of the country, and then mate, had a flight booked for October 21st, and we landed back in Melbourne. And, I was still kind of speaking to my agent at the time, thinking that, still opportunities, is there things? Guys, obviously naturally don't necessarily go as well as what they would like, so you kind of put the feelers out there. And there was a couple of teams that reached out, whether it was practice squad gigs or whether or not I was trying to have a shot. But ultimately, nothing really popped up. And, mate, so I kind of had to start thinking about what I wanted to do over here, and fortunate enough to have an ex-coach of mine that I was at Williamstown with in Andy Collins, who's now at the Hawthorn Football Club, and got a role as a development coach. So that's been the next phase of my life that I've really enjoyed so far. It's only been a few months, but I went through the whole interview process, which was super exciting, and really, really excited about what the future holds for them at the Hawthorn, which is exciting, mate. And that's where I'm at right now. So it's back into AFL, and season's around the corner, and here we go. Love it, mate. And thank you so much for touching on all the detail, because it takes everyone through the journey and of, I guess, how hard it's been. We just touched on Super Bowl, playing unbelievably well weeks 1, 2, then getting the call, then back here, now at Hawthorn. That's a lot. There's a lot in there. There's a bit to go. No, you couldn't have broken that down any better. I've got a few questions off the back. I don't want to talk about this too long, but it's more, I'll talk about myself. So I've had a mishap. It was against Hawthorn in a prelim. I've never really spoken about it. It still haunts me, clearly. But it was a mistake where didn't realise it was that big till probably after, with the external noise. Look, I haven't even watched the replay back. It still gets comments now. It's probably one of those moments where, in our sport, you do get a second chance, but fans never forget it. And mentally, yourself, so you're trying to move on. Then you think about the team and go, well, what if the team had to just turn that around and it wouldn't be that big of a deal? Yours is probably, I've thought about your play, right? And it's like, yeah, you might not have had the best kick, but
Tony makes this unbelievable play. There's a lot of other things that happen off the back of it. What I want to ask you is, with American culture and Australian culture, that's a bit different. You're saying that there was just, with the amount of, I can only imagine that, because you're Philly, well, you know, I don't even know if you go for Philly anymore, but when I watch them, I go, they're maniacs. I'm just thinking, is it just one of those ones where you just couldn't escape it from a social media point of view, or fans, or just was it, you know, even the GM letting you go after performing well? What was the feedback? Yeah,
there's no escaping anything out of the Philadelphia area, that's for sure. No matter what happens, there's definitely going to be what if this happened and da-da-da about me in particular. So it's a hard one to be able to get past, because obviously clearly the Philadelphia fans are very, very passionate about their football team, and you know, obviously in lots of people's eyes and stuff, it's the one that probably got away. And I guess my name probably gets referred to that a fair bit as part of it. Whether that's right or wrong, you know, it is, but it is what it is, and I can't do much about that. And I think in the end, you know, people internally, as in at the organisation, feel that pressure as well. And it just gets to a point where they just have to kind of make a move on it no matter what. So as I said, look, no matter what the situation was and how I performed, ultimately I think it's just too much heat, and therefore they have to kind of make a change as a bit of a fresh start, like going forward. So it's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one to take, and there's many factors that go on in that moment. Obviously, I was part of that, but there's also other factors that can go into it too. But yeah, mate, it's obviously, you know, one of those sports where you only get limited amounts of opportunity, and there's no second goes at it in a moment like that, and that's something that I've had to live with, and will have to continue to live with. But at the same time, I'm definitely growing from it, and there's bigger things out there, and you know, rather than just a football game. I know it obviously means a lot, and you know, it meant a lot to me too. I still wanted to win the whole thing, and you know, just as disappointed, if not more. You know, not just as, I'm definitely more disappointed than any of those people that watch the game or anything like that. And you just have to kind of take it on the chin and move on. So plenty of good things that are happening right now for me. As I said, with the Hawthorn stuff, and beautiful family and that. And, you know, that's what definitely continues you to drive you and keep going.
Yeah, well said, mate. Well said. I think one of our common questions that we've been asking a lot of our guests lately is challenging moments. That was one of them, and how you've overcome it. Has there been anything in particular that you've done that you've learned about yourself? You know, it's clearly adversity. You've faced it head on. You've definitely passed it. You're moving through it. You don't forget it, like you said. But are there any tips out there that, you know, you could share with how you've dealt with it and moved on? Like, you know, we always refer to maybe a psychologist or maybe family, or wrapping yourself around people that you love. But is there anything in particular that's worked for you?
Yeah, look, I think ultimately for me, I tried to hide away from it for a long time, and that was just probably eating up inside me, to be honest. And it took me a while, and I thought I'd be all right. You know, it's the same thing. It is what it is. I'll learn to get over it and just get back out there. But ultimately, that's probably the part that was eating me up. So for me, I went and spoke to someone externally to be able to kind of clear my mind up, and just kind of put it out in open. Like I not only did, you know, obviously that thing, you know, that situation happen, I physically didn't speak about it for 3 or 4 months. And it wasn't to family, wasn't like to anybody really. I'd spoken to a couple of people and that, but ultimately I never really spoke about how it affected me, if that way. I always tried to put on this brave face of, you know, it happened. I obviously wish it didn't, but I never went into the details, and I never went into just, you know, how I felt about it and trying to get it past. So for me, I definitely had to go and speak to someone in the end to get me kind of through that brick wall that was right in front of me that I just couldn't break through. And I did that. I probably did that at the right time in the end, and I think that's why I was able to go out there and play those 2 games actually relatively well. Yeah. Because I did it before leading into training camp in the end, because I thought if I don't do it before then, I'm probably going to be in trouble. You know, because I'd just be like, honestly, you know, everyone has bad kicks. Everyone does it. You know, mine just happened to be in the biggest game of the year. every player in the NFL has had kicks, multiple kicks that haven't gone very well. So for me, I was like, if I didn't go and speak to someone and that happens to me just in training camp, I'm probably just going to start losing my mind and going, oh no, it's happening again, da-da-da. So I had to go and just like clear my head and speak to someone about that and just like give myself a little bit of a mantra or something or a trigger word or, just to kind of clear my mind and go, what's done is done, so basically just trying to begin a process, if that makes sense. And yeah, it helped me immensely. It helped me immensely and
cleared the mind.
Which was what I needed, and I was able to kind of go in there fully focused about what I needed to do, and the results kind of showed that, I think, in the end. And it definitely helped me immensely to be able to do it. So, anybody that's obviously going through any tough times doesn't even have to be related to sport. Obviously, it's just, don't be afraid to be able to go and have a chat to somebody about it and open up. And obviously family is obviously the most important, first and foremost. And I spoke to my wife about it, once I started to feel more comfortable. But just don't be afraid to be able to go and do it, because it could be anything. There's a lot of worse things going out there than what I had to deal with, and that's the absolute truth. So, a lot of people go through worse stuff than me, and just making sure that they're not afraid to be able to go out there and speak to people when they need to, because I think it truly does work, because it just gets you to open up a little bit more, and all of a sudden you start saying things that you didn't even expect to say, and it's just a bit of a flow-on effect, and you're like, weight off your shoulders, your chest obviously doesn't feel like it's being caved in and that, and just a sense of relief, which was massive for me in the end.
Nah, it's great, mate. It's great advice, and it's also the way you're breaking it down for people that haven't been to a specialist, psychologist, someone to talk to. You're really, selling it naturally, just telling them how you feel going in and out. And that's what my next question was, how nervous were you going into round one? But I'm now probably thinking you probably weren't as nervous. You're probably like, I've been here before. This is just another bit of process. Just got to execute.
Yeah, I was still nervous.
Okay.
Yeah, I was still nervous.
I was just thinking that first punt.
But that's what was terrifying me, is if I didn't go and speak to somebody, because I knew that I was going to be nervous. But if I didn't know how to handle that, then I know that's what was going to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
So I was hella nervous. Like, this is the first game back from, like, this is my last kick that I had was obviously the worst one I've ever had. And so the next one that I had was the first one since, all this time. I've had to wait 7 months to be able to do this.
It's a long time.
So I knew I was going to be nervous. There was no doubt in my mind. But I needed to, I knew that at the same time, and that's why I needed to go and speak to someone so I could handle that. So when I felt that, I was like, okay, now I have a process to be able to try and get myself calm, and go from there. So my heart was like physically beating out of my chest. I could just feel it like throbbing on the left side of my body.
The play where the ball comes out? Well,
it's actually a bit of a blur.
Yep, right.
Like you talk about the first one after.
Yeah, like you're out in the field.
It's actually probably one of the rare times that I don't actually can recall properly what had happened. I think what had happened, we were going left, so I've hit the ball basically from the exact same area as what happened in the Super Bowl. You couldn't have written it better, to be honest. Basically in the similar area, going left, do what I got to do. The guy got a little bit of a return, but that was just good blocking on their behalf. I hit a really nice ball in the end and that. So, but it wasn't anything too crazy. But I just needed that one first out of the way, and I just remember getting off the field and just taking the biggest breath. Just like that. And then I was like, okay, I'm all right.
And do your teammates, realise the moment? No,
look, I don't think so.
Nah,
I don't think so. Maybe the two specialist guys that I work with a lot. I think they probably felt it, and a couple of the younger guys that I'd been with for a few years, and my specialists as coaches and that, because I remember them coming up to me after the game and like giving me the biggest hugs and stuff like that, because I did have a good game and kind of shoved it in people's faces a little bit.
Yeah.
And I can't take back, and I can't give back or get back whatever happened back then, but it was like it was a way to, you know, say that I've put in the work and everything, and you know, the rest of my teammates that were actually able to see that by my performance. So that was really nice. You know, as I said, lots of hugs from people that knew that what, you know, I'd been going through and things like that. And then that was kind of a nice little reward in the end. But it wasn't everybody, because that's just the way the NFL works. You know, obviously it's a bit like that. But the people that I think that I'd built really good relationship with were aware. And those were the people that kind of came up to me afterwards, after the game, and were like, you know, like, good work, buddy. I know it's been tough, but
real
like, credit to you. So
yeah, that's
good.
great. No, that's awesome, mate. And appreciate you diving in. And I'm just starting to reflect. I'm trying to think about the last time we spoke. I probably dug it up first. I was probably getting straight to the. It was pretty fresh afterwards.
No, you did, and I was still kind of going through it all a little bit at the time. And so that's, as I said to you before, I was like, you know, you know, whatever happened. I can't take back that, all the classic stuff that you do say. So I hadn't really had time to kind of reminisce on it. It obviously hurt, but letting it, you know, eat up at you a little bit more and let it kind of build up, and then you're like, all right, I need to do something about it.
Well said. And it's good, mate. I mean, look, it's not unfortunate we're bringing this up. It's probably, as I said, it's probably easy for you now to chat to it and chat through it. But
for sure.
The Super Bowl we're just talking about the Super Bowl. You were there last year. That's one of the many memories. Unfortunately, it's the last kick there. But, mate, in terms of your career, like, congratulations on everything you've achieved to date. I guess I've just got to ask, because everyone's probably wondering, is there any chance you're going to go back to the NFL? I know you're in a development role. The AFL season's about to start. The NFL season's about to finish. You know, you could still see this roll out and get a call at mid to end of the year of
never
AFL.
Say never.
Is there a chance?
Never say never, but I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing right now, and I'm enjoying being back here with family and friends and everything like that. You know, you can, as I said, you can never say never.
Do you miss it?
I do miss it. There is no doubt in my mind that I do miss it. I thoroughly enjoyed my time over there, and you know, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't want it to go a little bit longer. But you know, I just you just see what happens and you move on. And as I said, I'm enjoying everything that's happening right now. Of you know, beautiful little girl at home and wife that are both obviously from Australia. So you know, you weigh up those options and everything like that, and you make sure that you know, they're happy with everything and that too. And you take it as it comes. But I'm really enjoying everything right now, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it'll, you know, if the opportunity didn't come, like, would you consider it? You think you'd have to? It'd be a no-brainer. But really content with everything. I'm very happy with the Hawthorn Football Club. They've been great to me so far, and I look forward to being part of their coaching staff and seeing what that young group's got going forward.
Yeah, well said, mate. So never say never. I'm here, and there's still a pulse. There's still a pulse here with the big sip. We want to see you back over there. How many years was it in the end? How many games and years? Do you count your games like AFL?
I don't really count the games as much. I can't. I probably couldn't tell you. Maybe 30 odd or something in the end. So yeah, obviously I spent just over 3 in the NFL with a year on the practice squad with Detroit, and having that whole year experience was just massive. And then 2 full seasons with the Eagles, and then obviously started, you know, obviously the season last year. And yeah, so ended up doing that, and then obviously 2 years in college too. So yeah, about 6 years in America, which was great.
Oh, mate. Look, what you've done and what you've achieved, and we're talking, let's go back, AFL and then college and then NFL, getting to a Super Bowl. I think we're going to see potentially the first Australian, if San Fran can get it done, you know, win the Super Bowl. But you were only, were you the 3rd or 4th to make the Super Bowl?
I think I may have been the 4th, maybe.
So what you've achieved is...
So yeah, me and Jordan obviously did it at the same time last year, so you can pick which way you want to go about it.
Yeah,
they'd probably go 3 or 4, whatever, priorities. But yeah, I mean, obviously Mitch has been there before, and obviously lost to the team that he's playing again in a couple of weeks' time. So hopefully he can turn around and actually be the first one to be actually on the field and win one. So
yeah, it'd be amazing. But yeah, mate, congratulations on everything you've done. And Oh, geez, it's, you know how much I love the NFL. I've got to get you back over there, big dog. I've got to get you in another building.
We'll
I mean,
see. We'll
I don't want to pot the Eagles there. You know, I know the the NFL Australia look after the Eagles and the Rams.
Yeah.
But they're booing the coach now. Like, it's not like it's any, as soon as you lose.
As I was going to say, you know that the city's in a tough place, and they're pretty ruthless when the head coach is taking you to the Super Bowl, and the year after they have a little slump and they want him out the door. And it's the same with a lot of stuff going on with AJ Brown and Jalen. It's just the media
crazy,
are pretty ruthless over there, and it doesn't matter who it is, they're going to have a crack. So, yeah, I mean, anybody that obviously is an NFL lover and follows it, that literally proves it right there that it doesn't matter what you do. It's pretty brutal.
It is brutal. Before we get to the Super Bowl preview, I want to talk about Hawthorn. Just to, you know, I don't play Supercoach, but I imagine there are some people out there that love this fantasy, like I love the NFL or you love the AFL, and you want to get a little hidden gem. Now, your head of development, which means generally when I was playing, and you as well, 1st to 4 years, is it still the same?
Yeah, 1st to 3 for, I think,
1st to 3.
For the Hawks, so yeah.
Who are we going to see potentially in that rising star category? I don't want you to put the pressure on, but who's someone that's emerging out of this pack that we can expect to have a great start of the season?
Nick Watson's obviously the young draft pick that we got. It's he's going pretty well for himself, I'd say, and we'll see what happens there. But he's a young, talented kid, which is exciting to see. And there's a few boys floating around there right now that might be able to get in there, but yeah, it's definitely an exciting time for the young Hawks.
Back to the Hawks, because I know my footy, they play a very attacking game plan, so it's a bit of an exciting one actually. It's something Sam Mitchell's been probably doing against the grain and just going at all costs and scoring, and hopefully it is the future. We love scoring. Who is looking unbelievable on the track? Just want a little insight.
I can't give everything away, mate.
Not everything. Oh, man, I used to fly around in pre-season. I would average 8 possessions.
Isn't everybody flying in pre-season?
I'm going to be flying. I'll get peeling 3 weeks. But, you know, I used to feel good in pre-season. Who's flying on the track right now, you know?
Who's flying right now? Probably John Newcomb.
Yeah, nice. I like the way he goes about it.
Yeah, he's a pretty handy player, I reckon.
Okay.
So
beautiful.
I'll give you. That's the one I'll give you.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's value. That's still value. Like
that's the one I'll give you.
People are probably going, "Oh no, shit." Yeah, we all know that already.
Can't give too much away, mate.
Righto, let's get to the Super Bowl preview. Once again, shout out to Griffin Logue for letting me borrow his top. He's pulled out today last minute. Don't you love blokes that pull out last minute?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what you got to love when you send your guest the wrong address to the studio. So I can't be potting anyone.
That's all right.
When I'm sending you to the wrong
extra pair of sunnies, he said, so it's all right.
Well, I've got your RIXXs right here, mate. I got your RIXXs. I couldn't believe that. Jeez, I've made some mistakes this week.
Too good.
It is the Super Bowl 58. It's the Chiefs taking on the Niners. I'm not sure who gets what jersey just yet. We're recording this as quick as we can. So aces out there, we want you to make sure that you get as many tips from the great man here. Sip's been to a Super Bowl. He loves it. He's played against these guys and he knows the game better than anyone I know. So we'll be asking him all the questions. Just to give you all a little update, Kansas City is heading to its 6th Super Bowl, including a remarkable 4th in the past 5 seasons, which is crazy. And then for the Niners, they're making it their 8th appearance in the Super Bowl with a chance to win their first since 1994. So obviously means a lot to both, but that would be, their fans would be going crazy. And a great fan base. I had a close friend just recently go to my physio, Stocko. I just spoke to him on the phone, checked in because he was in over the New Year's break and he went to Washington. And he goes, mate, we went and watched Washington with the family and in Washington, home game, playing the Niners. And he goes, mate, the Niners were booing the Washington fans and they were taking over. And I go, mate, so
they travel very well.
Big fan base. You'd expect Vegas to be probably, well, it's going to be red, clearly. But Chiefs fans are also very loud.
Chiefs fan and the 49ers fan, probably a great matchup, to be honest, because they've both got a massive fan base. And last year's obviously was the same with the Eagles and Chiefs, and you're going to get the same here. But I've seen videos of San Fran fans obviously going down to LA at that massive stadium that you have there, and they cover that thing in red. So they do travel very, very well. So
They do.
They'll be nice and loud for sure.
They will be loud. I want to go to some more stats here. Back to back, the Chiefs are trying to achieve this one. No team's done this since the 2004 and 2005 Patriots. So what that told me was back-to-back's not easy, clearly. Very rare. And Mahomes is in thin air here. So again, I'm leaning towards the Niners naturally because but I'm going to tip Mahomes just because I've been wrong. I might as well keep me trust. Whatever I say, do the opposite. So I'm going to tip the Chiefs later, maybe. But winning back to back, it's only happened 8 times in their history, and 3 of those within the first 10 years of the game's existence. So winning back to back. It does point towards the Niners again on these stats. And I'll tell you what, finding some stats on the Super Bowl, it wasn't easy. Sip, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the Niners and the Chiefs. One of the questions from the Aces, and I appreciate everyone that wrote into our questions, was how do you think how are the coaches going to out-coach each other? The one thing that I noticed is the run defense for the Chiefs is meant to be poor. Yet the Ravens last week gave it to their running back 6 times. I thought they were very poor with the way they coached. And didn't test the Chiefs' run game. We know their pass D is fantastic. Sneed's unbelievable on wide receivers. So I'll start with you with 49ers. What's the key to success to beating this Chiefs outfit?
I can guarantee you they're going to run the football. That's for sure. They've got 2 absolute stars back there. Obviously, McCaffrey and Mitchell just doing their thing as a 1-2 punch. And obviously, McCaffrey's getting 20 touches a game and doing his thing, and their O-line's outstanding. So you're definitely going to see them running the football for sure and try and establish that pretty early in the game because that opens everything up, for them and too from the passing point of view, and obviously release a bit of pressure off Brock too. He's obviously a great clock manager and understands the game and what Shanahan provides for him and everything. But if they can get that running game, obviously it makes Brock's life a hell of a lot easier. So I think that's the way, obviously, that they're both head coaches are offensive geniuses, and Andy's obviously got the history to be able to show that more so than Shanahan. But Shanahan's been unbelievable for the last few years for him, and they need to definitely establish that run game first to be able to get that going, and then might put the defense under a bit of pressure of the Chiefs. So that's the way I see it early, what they need to do, and if they're able to do that, then this is going to be a cracking game.
Do you think the best case scenario here is San Fran run the ball, and then we get Mahomes that's just sitting back and he's just got to fling that thing around? We don't see as much Pacheco.
Yeah, I think that's your ultimate thing that you want. 49ers defense is pretty darn solid, and especially that D line and their front 7 that are just very, very aggressive. So I think they're going to want to do that pretty quickly and not have that. But obviously, Mahomes is Mahomes for a reason. He hasn't had the offensive weapons that he's had previously, but with their defense standing up has probably helped him this time round. But when you've got Mahomes and Kelsey together, anything can happen. So ultimately, what you want to see is a typical 49ers running style game with Brock getting some throws out there and doing his thing and scoring, and then ultimately want to see is Patrick having 350, scoring a couple himself and making it that way. But it's a very interesting matchup for sure.
It is very interesting, and I've got a lot of player props that I want to ask you. The first one is Deebo Samuel's shoulder. He looked very sore against Green Bay, played last week. I noticed he hurt it late. No one said anything in the media. I've been trying to look up some articles. Clearly, San Fran aren't going to say anything. But whatever he's done to his shoulder, I don't know. Well, what do you think he's done? Because it looked like the back of his shoulder. Is this bone? What would they be doing to get him up for these games? The Super Bowl gives you 2 weeks. As you know, you had an extra bit of time to get up yourself. What do you think is going to be happening with him at the moment?
Hard to know. But if it's back, obviously, maybe it's a little bit like labrum impingement or anything like that. But again, I'm no physio, so I'll leave that alone and see how we go. But I'd just say, obviously, the extra treatment for him every single day to make sure that he's right and making sure he's got enough movement in there to be able to go. So he looked okay last week. They obviously didn't use him as much in the offense as what they have previously to get himself going and stuff, and maybe because there's obviously still a little bit going on with him right there. But as you said, the extra week to get himself right and making sure he's ready to go there will be massive. And I think in the end he's going to be a pretty vital part to that offense for sure.
So do I. He had 8 receptions last week for 89 yards.
Well, that's not too bad then.
Well, it is. No, you're spot. Only reason I read that out is I thought he had a lot of work, and off the back of a game where he didn't put. I mean, he was in the tracksuit early, and that would. To remind people there was 21-24. San Fran only just won. McCaffrey scored a touch. So the season's over. So the fact that he played so well last week, it confused me because, you know, as I love to have a little dabble on these games, I thought if he's not playing against Green Bay and they're down, they were down by a bit and they come back late. I thought, well, it must be pretty bad. And then he comes out and goes for 8 catches and 89 yards or whatever I just said. So I was really unsure what to do against Detroit with them. And Ayuk he only had 3 catches for 68. So my question here, while I'm talking about the wide receivers at San Fran, who do you think Sneed is going to go to from the Chiefs, or do you think he might mix up his matchups? What do you think they're going to do on defense? Because they've been very good.
If Debo's out there first, he has to go with Debo first. So I just think he's their number 1 wide receiver and has to get it done. You know, Ayuk's obviously been very impressive this year, but, I mean, both corners have been very good for Kansas. McDuffie has been very, very good on the other end. So I think the matchup there in general is going to be solid. But I think in the end, it's a very simple thing. It's just whoever they think is maybe getting off the chain a little bit is probably where Sneed's going to go. But I guess the hard part about it too is that, you know, Debo is obviously so diverse, being able to kind of run the ball too, and they find different ways for him to be able to get the ball in his hands. So I can't say that maybe the Chiefs have probably seen that too much this year in terms of that dynamic kind of player. But I'd say Sneed would be the one that has to go to Debo first to make sure that they kind of shut him down as quick as possible.
Do you talk about establishing the run game with Christian McCaffrey early? I love play action when they do that a lot, and then they go, right, now we can launch one. If you're offensive coordinator and all the knowledge you've got for the game, do we expect an Ayuk at the back, or do we expect Kittle through the middle? What would be the play that we could expect, Sip? Like when we look back on this podcast and we think, Sip was on the money. Who's the player that you think for the Niners outside of McCaffrey? It's a very simple game plan they've got. They've got a superstar in Kittle at tight end. They've got Debo Samuel and Ayuk at wide receiver. And then there's a few little players around, but it's McCaffrey and them guys. Who's the one out of those 3 that are going to be getting a heap of work, you think, with a matchup against the Chiefs? Because if I go through the Chiefs' last 2 games against the Bills, they didn't allow anyone to get over 45 yards receiving. Josh Allen had 72 rushing yards and James Cook only 61, so no one really got, and that was Kincaid with 5 catches for 45, and Shakir, who's wide receiver too, because Gabe Davis was out.
That's right.
He had 7 catches for only 44 yards. And then if you go to the game before that, if I can get it up here, I can't find it. Or it was last week, sorry. I watched the game and obviously did not like what I was seeing. Flowers got a big deep ball, 54-yard catch. You take that off, right? He ended up going for 115. But if you take that one play out, he only goes for like 60. He had 5 catches. Outside of that, no one went over 39. And then on the ground, no one went over 54. And that was Lamar Jackson. So what I'm trying to get is the Chiefs don't really allow any big plays.
Yes, it's true.
But San Fran are the opposite.
San Fran have, I think, the dynamic offense that's going to make it a little tougher. The previous teams that you've spoken about have obviously got their 2 or 3 players and they can kind of go to every single time. But if that doesn't happen for them, then where do they go? San Fran's not the same beast. They're a different kettle of fish altogether. And you know, if someone you're going to really rely on to kind of get yourself going, if you are in that little rut, it's probably George Kittle. He just finds ways to, not only when he catches the ball, all of a sudden he's breaking people down. He's getting an extra 10 yards out of nowhere and stuff. And I think while they don't allow some of the deep balls, there's been a few opportunities for him. You know, Stefan Diggs in that big one there that Josh Allen threw an absolute dime and didn't make. So there's opportunities there, but it's few and far between. So that's why I think George Kittle's the guy that can kind of get underneath a little bit with his little wheel routes and you know, little slants that he loves to do out of that tight end position. And I think that could kind of really open it up for him for sure. And if they get that going, then that really does completely open up their offense.
I love the fact you said George Kittle, because that's exactly who I'm thinking as well. And he was very quiet last game. Only 2 catches for 27 yards. For some reason, long of 28. So he must have caught one and went backwards. But they didn't play well early.
Yeah,
then they ended up winning.
Really have to do too much though, because the fact that I mean, obviously he is a part of their offense in terms of obviously the catching and receiving game, but. I guess they really had to get some serious yards going on after being down 24-7. So you had to get it to the guys that are going to make those plays. And there was obviously a couple of instances where they got that turnover at their 25-yard line. So, that automatically turns it over a bit quickly for him, which is nice. And George becomes a very, important part for him. For blocking and everything like that too, which he's awesome at as well. But I think that's one person that can definitely get off, and I think the Chiefs can, I think they allow that to be able to, happen to sometimes, just the guys that can get under, because they do want to keep everything in front of them. But George is the kind of guy you don't want to do that to.
Love it. Let's flip this up. Let's go to the Chiefs. If the Chiefs are going to win this game, how do you expect them to win?
I mean, their defense has to be very good, which they have been all year, and they have to continue to do so. But you need to find a way to you need to find a way to get Kelsey the ball as much as you possibly can, and they always seem to do that. That's their 1-2 punch clearly, which is obvious. But if they can get another wide receiver, probably Rice has been his go-to guy all year. If he can get off, then it makes up for a very, very interesting day.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the San Fran, it's not like they've been amazing on defense. Yeah. And, they've been great in the second half in the clutch, but they've been found out early.
Been found out early and just been able to kind of work their way back. But they can't do that to this Chiefs offense still if you let them get off early. And it's all about confidence for those Chiefs. The Chiefs go out there against Baltimore and they score on their first drive after getting a 3 and out, going on the road and making it 7-0 straight away by just playing simple ball for them. That just instills confidence into them. And Mahomes is such a great manager and just knows every situation that defense needs to be on their game pretty quickly, or else they're going to get found out pretty early, and it could be lights out.
Who's a player from the Chiefs we can expect? So Kelsey's had a massive postseason.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah. Now, how do you stop him? Because I say this all the time, and I was saying it while I was watching on my own and nearly broke my hand slapping a table, watching him just catch ball after ball in the first quarter. Oh, can you triple team in this game or no? Because someone will be too open. How do they keep getting? How does Mahomes and Kelsey just keep finding each other in the 3rd and 4th down when they, not the game on the line early, but these plays that is so important? It goes to one bloke. It's Kelsey. What is he? What's the magic?
In all honesty, I think you actually got to create pressure from the D line. I think you need to get in Mahomes' face and actually make him feel that pressure, because. They'll have some routes that the quick throws out to him and things like that they can get going. But ultimately, you have to just get pressure on Mahomes in the pocket. You have to keep him in the pocket, and you just simply have to make him just panic as best as you possibly can. So it's not necessarily about double teaming or try and triple teaming to get to Kelsey. I actually think it's the D line that actually really needs to beat their O line to therefore not give him the chance to be able to kind of come up with this creative stuff, or else you're going to see 12 from 12 for 120 again with a touchdown or two, and it's game over.
It is, and they control the game. Yeah. I love the way you broke that down. One of the prop markets that I really like is Mahomes over on rushing, because of exactly what you just said. My mate goes, what do you like? I go, I actually really like Christian McCaffrey. Clearly not much juice there, but he's $1.50 for a tutty. He's been $1.20 all series, so I'd take that. And I really, really like Mahomes over rushing. And not just over, I reckon he could smash it, because I'm tipping the Niners are going to be in his face. And when you got Bosa and Young and as you said, Warner throwing his body around, I just think, like exactly what you said, he has to sometimes buy time and get out of that pocket. And scrambles quite nicely, Paddy. So I don't know if you saw his dad bod, but it made me actually made me proud.
It made me feel good.
I go, well, maybe I do like this.
Made me feel good about myself.
So I'm not sure. 100%. Made a lot of blokes feel good. He's one of us. There's not many blokes that are that cut like the rest of them. But do you like that? Do you like that prop? I mean, you probably won't watch, like, you never bet on the game before, but I love it. The prop for him to rush, it's always a juicy 25 yards around there. Do you think he'll have to do a lot of that?
I think he will. I think he will have to scramble a little bit. I think that they just need to bring the heat, and that's definitely what's going to happen. But they're always going to have eyes on him too. With those two linebackers in Freddie Warner and Greenlaw, I think that they're always going to have an eye on him too. So he's going to have to be very careful when he picks the time to do it. But if it's over 25 yards, I reckon he's probably got that covered.
Yeah, so
he finds a way to scramble and get a few extra yards. So I think he's all right there.
And touchdown market, I'll have a look at that in a second. We've got that here. Actually, I'll get it up right now. We'll talk about that later. But he hasn't scored a touchdown in I don't know how long. Okay, so he's $4.75. That's too hot. That should be $7. That's a disgrace. But that's something that I've always thought. Quarterbacks do tend to rush touchdowns sometimes in these big games, and they don't do it all year. So that's a market that I don't mind. But I tell you a market that we do love about the Super Bowl, guys. If you're listening and you want me to get it up, I've got it up. It's the Gatorade Shower. It's the colour. I don't know what it is with these markets, but everyone loves them. Sip, before you talk about the market and who you predict, the colour, who you think is going to win, I want to know what Gatorade you drank at the club all the time. Would it be, because we all know the property steward at AFL clubs, they just, whatever's there from Gatorade or Powerade.
We always had the one colour and it was yellow.
Always had yellow.
Always had yellow.
There you go. So I look at our sheet, and it's amazing that you said that.
The Eagles 2018.
2018 Philly Eagles, yellow.
Always wear the yellow. Always.
So you're saying 100% last year, if you guys were to win, it would have been yellow 100%.
Yeah.
So is there I'm looking at the Chiefs right here. They're different. 2020, the Chiefs won, and they were orange.
Yep.
And then last year when they won, it was purple. So there you go. Maybe this is great insight though. If for the future, if the Eagles were to win, it's 100% going to be yellow.
That's right.
So looking at this,
look at the Patriots, blue and blue when they won.
Okay, so are we saying
Teams
the fact
keep
that
it the same? Are the Chiefs are the odd ones out? Maybe
they are the odd ones out. Let me read this out. Everyone's probably like, "What are you boys looking at?" I'll tell you. Here's the Super Bowl winner and the Gatorade color. I'll also read out the year. I'll start from 2013. The Ravens went none, so no color. A bit of water maybe, or watermelon. 2014, Seattle Seahawks orange. 2015, New England Patriots blue. Denver Broncos in 2016 were orange. 2017, Patriots none. Oh, there you go. Patriots were none there. We said blue earlier.
I reckon they're sneaky and they just didn't want to give it away, mate.
Yep. Eagles, yellow, like the Sip said. And then Patriots in 2019, blue. 2020 Chiefs, orange. 2021 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, blue. 2020 LA Rams, blue. 2023 Chiefs, purple. No San Fran. So hard to get a read considering I'm tipping them to lose. Now, what would your tip be? This is a market that I don't find interesting at all, but for some reason, everyone out there they love this prop market.
I've seen like things on Instagram already where people are messaging the players on both sides, going like, I don't really care much about it, but I just want to know what the Gatorade is. Yeah. And that's it. It's everywhere. It's incredible.
It's the 1 week, I think, where everyone just goes crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your prediction? What is the most common?
As in just the colour?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to? Yeah, just the colour.
We'll go to the teams in a second. Just the colour.
I think the colour is going to be, I reckon it's going to be orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
We haven't got a market at the moment. We're sitting here early as we can at the American Aces. We try to get this thing up as quick as we can. Super Bowl only around the corner. So we're trying to get this quickly recorded and edited. We don't have a market yet, but that's great because we don't know what the prices are. Sometimes we see orange and it's $3. We go, we'll go to the next one. I tend to agree. I reckon I might go, I'm going to go with red. The fact that it's not there.
Wow.
So there's no red.
It's never there because it's a terrible flavour, mate. It's not red over there is the fruit punch. Nobody wants the fruit punch, mate.
Okay, I take it back. I take it back. I never thought about the taste.
It's not the berry flavour that you get here or whatever it is, mate. It's the fruit punch.
You know what?
Disaster.
I'm probably thinking yellow or orange then. Yeah. No. It's a great shout.
It's all about the flavour still. It's not necessarily that you still for the players and that you still want to have a good flavour.
I think you're spot on. I think yellow is lemon lime is yellow.
Gets the job done.
Gatorade, I've always been orange, actually.
Yeah,
orange
I don't know
and
if you
blue
want
are
to
the
go the
two.
same as me, mate.
They don't have grape. Do they have purple?
That's the purple. That's what the Chiefs won last year.
That is too.
Yeah.
Grape goes all right. I do smash grape.
Yeah.
Far out. I didn't think of the taste, which is pretty dumb, isn't it? I'm just thinking colours. You know what? I think when I look at it,
Tommy moment right there.
It is. When I actually look at this, orange hasn't popped up for 3 years, and this will be the 4th year. So I'm going to go with orange as well. Let's tip it together. Let's tip. Actually, I shouldn't do that. I'll curse him. I'm going to whatever I say doesn't happen. Far out. Maybe I stick to red. I'm going to go with orange. We're both going to go with orange. Righto, halftime entertainment. The market is out. A little sneaky preview here. Usher will be playing, and he's got OMG at $2.75. Yeah, $3. My Way, $4.50. Nice and Slow, $6. DJ Got Us Fallen in Love, $6. Love in This Club, $7. You Make Me Wanna, $8. And Good, $8. And there's more there, but I've just got the first half of the market.
I reckon you're
What's the one you like?
Oh, look, I mean, I think the way he could come out with a bit of oh my God just really does set the tone for you. So probably understandable it's a heavy favourite. But I reckon the other one that can maybe get you up and about is probably DJ.
Oh, yes, I was thinking $6. I'm like,
if you can get that going early, and away you go, mate. Happy days.
I can't sing, but I know I might get it up here. Can you get done with copyright if you play it off Spotify?
Falling in love again.
I reckon that is juice. $6. What are we wasting our time on the game? We should just be waiting for half time.
Just do that.
I haven't looked at the anthem. I know the anthem market, but that's crook. I'm not touching that. Heads and tails. I know my mate Joshy Guyman did that once. No, didn't tell anyone and just went, come on. We got the heads. That was the Bengals one. Right.
Massive.
Now let's get into the actual game. Let's tip some winners here.
All right.
The script, you go first, I'll go second. I want you to break down who's going to win this game of football. I've got the markets here. I've got first touchdown scorers. I've got any time. I've also got some props on my phone if we want, but we won't look at odds. We'll do that later. Just break down what you think would be a great little multi for people without even knowing the market.
Multi.
But also let's start with who you think is going to win and how. And why.
I think the 49ers can get it done. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I think they've been the better team all year. They have been. They've had some moments, but overall they've definitely been the standout team. And I think they've just got too many weapons to be able to kind of nullify in the end. And when you need guys to stand up, they've got a couple that are able to do it. So offensively, we've spoken about them. McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk has actually had a massive year. He never gets spoken about too much, but he's actually had a massive year, and Brock likes him a lot too. So they've got guys everywhere. Their O line's really, really sharp. The D line's really good. Obviously, if Nick Bosa gets off the chain and Javon Hargraves can get through the middle there, then you're in for a bit of a tough day. But that's what I can see happening. And I reckon they pick off Mahomes a couple of times. I reckon they do. I reckon they get to him and he starts to try and make a couple and they pick him off a couple of times. And it's still going to be close. But I just think that they're just going to make a couple of bigger plays that are going to get the job done for sure. So Brock's moments here. Everybody continues to ride that man off, and I'm kind of hoping he can actually just get it done and put it to bed.
Well said. Well, I've been riding this bloke off. Patrick Mahomes, I've been saying there's no way he's beating the Ravens. There's no way he's going to get to the Super Bowl.
I'm not picking the Chiefs, no matter what happens. I can't do it.
Either
you wearing that thing is just horrendous.
I thought if I wrap this up and give it to you as a present, I'm like, that's a bit rough.
Oh, you'll take me back 6 months and I'll have to start again, mate.
Oh my God! Well, you could have wrapped up a Hawthorn and gave me a Hawthorn.
I definitely could have. Now that I know that story, you be careful.
You could have gave me a Hawthorn jersey, and I could have gave you this, and then all of a sudden we're all ready to go.
That's
we
great.
can move on.
We're all square.
Man, I'm very confident that the Niners will win this game. I just want to see their defense play the way they have in probably the last quarter of the last two games.
Yeah.
So the start is crucial. No shit. But I have the Niners winning, and I think the Chiefs haven't allowed. I think there was something I heard. They haven't allowed 30 points maybe all year.
Yeah, I actually think that's right. I think at some stage later in the year was about averaging 21 against them. So it was.
So can the Niners break them over? Yeah, break them over. Just break them up. I reckon they can just break them open was what I was trying to say. I think they can. And when it comes down to this run game, no one running against the Chiefs, I had a mate go, yeah, well, no one's tried it. And I go, well, there's a reason why they reckon. When you got Christian McCaffrey, he's made for this moment. And I was thinking about Moneyball the other day. I was talking to someone about this, like, why do you love the NFL so much? And I'm like, just the GMs and the amount of money and the ego and all these positional changes they make, just like a chessboard. Yeah. Well, San Fran has spent so much money.
They have.
Brock Purdy's on $870,000, which is well documented. I think we got every other quarterback's generally on 20 mil, if they're at this the postseason. Yep. So this is their year. Like they have to win because
they're in trouble going into next year, so they have to do it.
He's going to need to get paid soon.
Yeah. And they're already paying enough people as it is too. So
and they'll lose them. So and they're healthy, right? Yeah. So we just saw that one of the players, I can't remember his name, you might remember from the Chiefs on defense, he hurt his knee. He's out, I think, 2 weeks, maybe get up to strap it, but I don't think he'll play 100%. So I'm going for the Niners. I don't want to. I know I put the Moz on teams, but there's no Moz this week. The Niners are going to win this game. Yeah. And I hope Mahomes is behind slinging the ball, showing us what he's made of. But I just don't know who he's going to. If they can stop Kelsey, who are they throwing to? MVS?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with him, but I haven't seen that all year. Watson, you got Noah Gray, Pacheco might get taken out early. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway,
it's an interesting one for sure.
We're both going Niners. And the bookies are giving this very nice, juicy odds. So it's like $1.80, $2. Yeah. I think San Fran is sneaky favourites.
Sneaky.
So it's a very even game. Vegas have got it.
Valid so. I mean, the Chiefs have proven teams wrong or guys wrong all year. I mean, who would have thought that they come in here and they're getting to another Super Bowl? So you can never write them off. But
I said this with Brady. I'd never, ever bet against him. And I, you know what? He started losing games at the end of the year, and I started getting on him. But Mahomes is like that. You probably shouldn't go against him. I have been going against him the last 2-3 weeks. And I've learnt my lesson.
Have you though?
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know if you're right. I don't know if I just don't. I just cannot see this happening the way it has. Yeah. So, and it's more the offense. Yes. I haven't seen them put up big points all year. Yeah. They've had to grind them out. So, let's go to the anytime touchdown market. But before we go there, actually, first touchdown. I've got the you got the sheet there.
Absolutely.
There's always juicy odds for this. Yeah. Everyone does it. I remember making some money on the Gronk with Buccaneers. I think a few years ago at the Sporting Globe with a few of the boys down here. Benny Graham was flashing his. I think it's his AFC or is he NFC? His NFC, sorry, his ring, which you would have one of them. How good? Where's that, by the way?
That's hidden away very nicely. It might come out for a special appearance in a couple of weeks. We'll never know.
So I think you'll be getting a few cashies, actually. Lucky BG's in Vegas because you'll be just eating up all these cashies now that you're the newest on the block. Mate, first touchdown market.
Somehow being in Vegas is pretty nice, though, so we'll go from there.
First touchdown market. We have some odds here. I'll read them out for San Fran really quickly. McCaffrey, $5. Ayuk, $11. Kittle, $12. Debo, $13. And then you get to some juice. Juwan Jennings, 34, Brock Purdy 41, Ray McLeod 51, Elijah Mitchell 51, Juszczyk 67. I won't go through the rest. And then for the Chiefs, we've got Isaiah Pacheco at $7, Kelsey 9, Rashee Rice at 11, and then we get into some juice. Mahomes 21, Clyde Edwards-Helaire 23, MVS 29, Justin Watson 29, Sky Moore, who's been injured but he must be back, 41, Noah Gray 51, and then I'll leave the rest there. Tony 51. Tony is what you do not do. I don't even think he'll be on the field. Who do you think will score the first touchdown, Sip?
First touchdown for me is going to be. Oh, gee, this is a good one. I'm going to stick with my man George Kittle.
I really like that.
George Kittle at $12, I think is. Do
you think they're going to get down there and go? They think we're going to run it with McCaffrey, and then George goes left.
Yeah, I reckon we can do. I reckon that can be done for sure.
We're big on Kittle here.
I love Kittle. I do love Kittle. He's just a funny character too. Yeah. Like you can't not like the guy.
No, you can't. I saw him do
just get it out to your tight end and say we have the best tight end on this field right now.
Oh yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, like that.
Just get it going.
Like that.
You know, like everyone's talking about the Kelsey connection. Let's get Kittle involved and let him score the first one to get it going.
We're big on Kittle. Yeah.
And my little smoky, I reckon, just out of curiosity, I reckon Jennings is a sneaky one there at 34.
I thought that last week. Wasn't excited. He's a great blocker. I've noticed he's a very good blocker, and that's
Change it up though. You know, it's all about this is what I mean is that you're never going to get the same thing 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I know he blocks.
You don't know.
Well, Debo. Yeah, one thing I love is a jet sweep from Debo.
Yeah.
When they're right there, he just comes and steals it.
Does.
And
little flicker.
So I'm wondering because he'll be fresh. You know, get him involved early.
Very true.
We're staying away from McCaffrey probably because the odds scare us at $5, but. That's great. Anytime touchdown for George Kittle, 280. Debo, you get your 260. $1.50 for McCaffrey at the moment. I reckon that'll be $1.30 by the time the game starts.
I think so too.
Because he's been $1.20.
Might as well jump on it now.
$1.21 or something it was the other day. $1.20. I said, you just can't take it, but it still happens that you probably should take it. You know what I mean? Very good, mate. And a player prop. So I'd imagine you're just going to go all Kittle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's big on Kittle. Oh, this is fantastic.
I love it.
Well, there you go. We've really given the value I've got here. I think. Well, I thought it'd be value. Mahomes for a touchdown. It's normally $6 to $7. It's $4.75. So hopefully that drifts out. But just thought he might have to make something up. But the guy that I've been sticking with is Noah Gray.
Yeah.
I've been liking Noah Gray when they try to run it and he just peels out and they all try double team Kelsey.
And they do, yeah.
So Noah Gray's always been one guy that I do like for a bit of value at the Chiefs.
Very true.
And at the Niners, I'm really liking what you said about Kittle. I think McCaffrey will get over, but yeah, I'm really liking that George Kittle as well, just because of the corners.
We're on the same page here.
Yeah, we are. It's a pretty good little preview. We're giving you we're going to review this, and if we get it right, I'm going to make sure that I call someone up and cut up all this stuff, and I might tell Brado, cut up 50 clips, send it to ESPN. Me and Sip might be back there for other reasons. Well, Sip, you can't just come on here and go home with nothing. You know that. I love the fact you're wearing the RIXX hat, by the way. I've just completely ignored it till now. I wanted to make, just that is amazing. When you walk in, that makes me feel so happy. I love it. I appreciate you wearing it. But you get another pair of sunnies. I know you got the Black Orbits. I saw you at the tennis the other day, and I thought, mate, I've got to sort you out. Well, you'll be on soon. I've got you the Melrose Champagne, mate. So chuck them on. I think it's time that we name a pair after a street in Vegas. I was just thinking about that. We had the Cosmos back in the day, which was based after the Cosmopolitan.
Look at these bad boys.
They are yours, mate. So flip the hat backwards, put them on. This is the everyone out there. If you want a pair of RIXX like Sip, these are the Melrose Champagne right here. We just restocked. All our colours and styles are back. If you head to rixeyewear.com.au, we have our special discount code ACES, and we'll look after you with 20% off and free express shipping on the house. Now, Sip, who is going to shine the brightest under the biggest stage there can be?
Well, we've spoken about him all day, basically, without kind of, giving him the accolades that he deserves, because he's been short price favourite everywhere. But it's got to be CMC.
The MVP.
The MVP has got to be CMC. It has to be. He's just going to go out there. He's going to have 130. He's going to get 2 tutties, and it's going to be all she wrote. So Christian McCaffrey, put it down.
Oh, I love it. Is it enough? Is it enough? Does Purdy, if Purdy throws 2 and Christian rushes 2, who gets it?
It's enough.
It's enough.
It's
there
enough.
You go.
McCaffrey is enough.
I love where you're going. We actually haven't given him anything. We've saved him for last. We've saved him for the RIXXs. And I'll tell you what, he would look good in the RIXXs, Christian. And so would his missus. She's not bad. He's done very well on and off the field. He has C-Mac. I'll tell you what, I think he's had a big year. Yeah. If he can cap this off, I think it'd be I don't know what number it was, but father-son, there's not many that have done what he's about to do if he goes on and wins a Super Bowl, because he's so it'd be a special moment for his family, for the Niners, and for Sip to tip in with the RIXXs on, the MVP. There you go. You've heard it right here. George Kittle, big game, first touchdown scorer as a roughie, and you got C-Mac MVP, Niners to win, and George Kittle in the air, and we've got the orange Gatorade, and then we've got DJ got us falling in love for $6 at halftime. If all this comes off, I tell you what, we send this to the NFL. We look like superstars. That is all we've got right here. Mate, thanks so much for coming on.
Mate, pleasure.
Appreciate you rocking the RIXX hat, rocking the RIXX shades. Got the tan. You're looking unbelievable. Got the RIXXs here. If you want some, get online, rixeyewear.com.au, and use our discount code ACES. Thank you so much to everyone that tunes in. Thank you to everyone that supported us. I'm sorry Rory Atkins couldn't join us. We tried to get him on a live screen. The truth is, I said, I've got the king here. Rat, you're out the door. You're making me look like an idiot. You're tipping winners. I'm tipping losers. No, we couldn't get Rat. So what we're going to do, I know everyone wants to know what Rat's selections are. he's going to send them in. We'll put up a graphic of who we think's going to win with all our Super Bowl tips and Gatorade and songs and all that fun stuff next week. But Rat, I know you're tuning in, mate. Thank you so much for all your support this year. You've got a huge season coming up with the Suns, and I look forward to what you do this year. But thank you so much for all the hard, I guess, the logistical nightmares of trying to organise a podcast on the Gold Coast and Melbourne around NFL. The teams aren't out late, and it's very tough. So appreciate you, mate, and appreciate everyone that's tuned in all year. And of course, we thank Sip for jumping on the pod and joining us right here. That's all we've got. I hope the Niners get up. Shouldn't go against this bloke, as we both know, but we're both going against him. So thank you. We'll see you next year for all this NFL chat, and we'll see you next week for another podcast or two. Thank you. Aces, I know I always go on about the RIXXs, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. It's been months. We ran out of stock, but we're back. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house.